What's going on, guys? Today we got a video explaining how to know which soccer cleats to buy in Burlington, Marshalls, Ross, maybe even the Nike outlet stores like that, and explaining why the ones that resell for what to go for. I get this question sometimes, so I thought it would help out some people because in the beginning I didn't really know until you just eventually you gain experience with them. You felt some of the lower tier ones, you felt some of the higher tier ones, but for now, this video will just give you some easy tips and explain a little background on the cleats. Alright, so the main cleat types for Nike are Mercurials, Hypervenos, Magista, Phantom, and Tiempos. And basically, so those are just the general models. There's variations like the Mercurial Superfly, like stuff like that. And that's just the general group. And then the next part is the sole plate. So the sole plate is just the bottom of the cleat. Different sole plates are used for different conditions, and different ones sell easier, different ones sell harder. Like soft ground SG is usually the cleats with the metal studs that you'll see. Sometimes the anti-clog ones, if you know what those are, and then just other metal studded cleats. And it's basically because soccer players use it in soft ground conditions. So when it's raining a lot, muddy, they need a little extra grip. It's not that commonly used, so that's why they're harder to sell. But if it's the right price, it's still worth it. Next is firm ground, pretty much one of the more common ones used on most surfaces. And then we got AG for artificial grass, turf fields, stuff like that, specifically made for that. I mean, you could use pretty much all of these cleats on all conditions, probably except for the SGs. Also, that's another point about the SGs. You can only use them usually overseas in the games. It's banned in most places in the U.S. to use in-game because it's a safety hazard, but overseas they do use them. MG is multi-ground. That means it pretty much can go on multiple surfaces. Then we got hard ground, which is not as common, but the main ones you'll see at the stores, I'd say, are FG, AG, and SG. You will see some others, but those are the main types. So here's some examples. In the top left, we got the stud ones. That would be soft ground. Then we got the black ones, which are the firm ground, and then another stud ones, and then you can just look at the differences at the bottom. They're pretty much, I mean, it's not that big of a deal for the most part, but if it's a stud one, you have to make sure it has all the studs, like in the top right picture. That was missing a stud when I bought it. It was still worth it because it was only $24. You can buy studs separately on eBay, but they're like $8 each or more. But if it's missing multiple studs and it's a bad size, it may not be the best option because sometimes people just steal the studs. Alright, so here's the tier level for Nike's cleats for the price ranges. So coming in for Elite, that's the one you really want to look for at these stores, and those retail for $230 to $300. Because of that high retail, that's why they all sell for a good amount. And Burlington prices all their cleats the same, $20, $25, 90% of the time. Ross, on the other hand, they've priced theirs weirdly the last few months. I don't have a Ross, but I've seen off pictures on Instagram. People have sent me. It's ranged from $20 to $50, so you'll know what you're going to get. So Elite, $230 to $300. Usually the $230s are the Tiempos. Still very good profit on those if you find those for $20, $25. It's not going to sell as much as the retail price unless it's like a special collaboration. But even if it goes for half that retail price, that's still a great profit. And then we got next Pro Edition. That's like 120 range, 140 range, give or take around there. And pretty much those, I mean, you can make some profit on some of them, but it's more risky, and I'd only recommend it to some of the more experienced people who know which pros may do well, which ones may not do well. Then Academy, those are like, you're starting to get towards the really cheap feeling ones, and those are, I'd avoid them. And then same thing with Club, 55 or less, like those are the really, really cheap ones. Not worth it. So that's just a quick summary of the retail price range. It's just give or take around these prices, and this is for Nike cleats. If you guys want me to do an Adidas one, just let me know. We'll see how people like this one first, though. So what to look for in elite cleats. So you want to look for ACC somewhere on the cleat, which stands for All Conditions Control. Basically, that's what makes them the high-tier cleat. It has that label on it, and then it's higher quality. And then men's/women's sizes are good. Most cleats that have a Y next to it, like they're youth size, so they'll be like 6Y, they don't sell as well. I'd stay away from most of the youth cleats, especially in the beginning, unless they are like special. Big difference between a size 6 and 6Y. It's huge. Size 6, you might be able to sell for decent profit. 6Y, usually no profit. Just because the youth sizes they use has a lower retail than the men's ones, and the men's 6 has the men's 6 retail. The 6Y has a lower retail, and it's usually cheaper feeling. I'd recommend if you see a pair in store, you'll get the hang of it, because you'll just recognize. Just takes time. And here's some examples on the bottom. Take a peek at them. Flyknit ACC, Flyknit ACC, Flyknit ACC. Yeah, so mainly it's at that part of the cleat. Some of the newer ones, different places. Some of them are just on the back, some different places. So just keep an eye out for that. Here's an example. I just brought out a couple high tiers that I have that I'm selling, and that's what they look like. You'll start to feel the difference eventually. For sizes, here's based on my experience. So 6 to 7, that's a little bit small. I mean, it might be harder to sell, but I still pick them up for high tiers. 7.5 to 8, you're getting to, it's not bad. Not a bad size at all. 8.5 to 9.5 are really prime sizes. Like, I always sell those for top dollar. 10 to 10.5, still pretty good. And then 11's okay. 11.5 plus are bigger sizes. As you guys know, like in general, a lot of soccer players have smaller feet. So the bigger sizes can be tougher to sell. You need the right buyer. But I still always buy them just because I'll pick them up as long as they're a men's high tier. As long as they're I'd say size 6 and up, unless it's a collaboration, I'll pick up lower, but never came across a lower, like 5.5 men's collaboration. So for elites, I pick up any men's size because I've sold sizes from 5 to 15. You never know what someone's looking for. Like I've sold in the beginning, I sold a size 15 for like $130. It was crazy. Some people don't pick up the bigger small sizes. It's up to you. I mean, spend your money wisely, especially if you have a more limited amount, because some of the bigger sizes and the really small sizes can be harder to sell. But if you have the money, I'd say pick up all the sizes you can. Just depends on how you want to run your business, and it's just pretty much up to you. So just to summarize, always do the research on a cleat. If you're not sure, just look up by the style code, which I've shown in a different tutorial video a while ago. If you guys ever have questions on that, I'm happy to answer. Just DM me on Instagram. Sizes to pick up, it's just up to you. I'd buy any size in a high tier, unless it was, like I said, 5.5. I mean, that's tough to sell unless it's $20. I'd probably pass, unless it's special, of course. Quality of the cleat is much better compared to the cheaper models. Once you feel, you'll definitely notice the difference based on weight, especially on the stud cleats. All the metal stud cleats are usually they're always top ends because it's more of a niche model, so Nike just makes them all high tier, I guess. And yeah, you'll notice based on the weight, quality. Elites are mainly what I will buy, but occasionally you can make money in the pros. Just make sure you do the research. And I hope this helps you guys. Comment any questions down below. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys want the Adidas video about how to know which Adidas high tier cleats to buy, just let me know and I can make it happen. Alright, catch you guys in the next one.